Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing this memories tag, which I saw Jen from 1,000 Words do, and actually she's popped it up in a group that I'm part of, which is called Play NZ. You guys may remember, I know it's been a very long time since I talked about Play NZ, but yeah, I thought I would do a few of these questions. I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, let's get into this tag. I haven't done a tag in so long. It honestly feels like ages since I've done a tag. Actually, it feels like ages since I've done a video. So I think I'm just going to like, I don't know, like only do a few because there's so many questions on here. Like there's 29 questions. Okay, let's just start with embarrassing memory. I feel like I've had heaps of embarrassing memories. Okay, the first one that I'm going to tell you. I was at the aquatic centre. I was about 12, so I was almost a teenager, but not quite a teenager. And I remember when I was younger and I would use a public toilet, I never used to lock the door because I was so terrified that I was going to get locked in there. Anyway, I was at the aquatic centre. I can't remember if I was on like a school trip or something, because we used to go to the aquatic centre heaps for school trips. And I remember I went to the toilet and I didn't lock the door, and a lifeguard came in, and I was like halfway in my one piece, so like half of me was still kind of covered but the other half of me wasn't. Thank God I was like a preteen, so there was nothing there, but I was very, very embarrassed. I remember that was one time. Another time would definitely have been when I was at, all of them are just high school, when I freaking leaked everywhere, when I had my period. I've talked about this before. If you want to go and check it out, I'll drop down that video below. I feel like heaps of them were from high school, but I can't even remember half of them. Like if I had my friends with me, they would be able to tell me so many embarrassing moments. I was also one of those girls that used to go bright red if I was shamed out. And the funny thing was, when I was at high school, I used to get up and speak in front of assemblies. I was a head prefect. But yet, if something shame happened to me, I would be so embarrassed. I do remember this one time I was in front of the whole school and we were talking. I think I'd ran some sort of competition to get people, I can't even remember, to get people active or something. I don't know why. Why would I be doing that? Anyway, I remember we did this like double dutch competition. So cool. And I was announcing how long people had been jump roping in this double dutch for. And I remember saying that this one boy had done 6, instead of 6 seconds, I said 6 seconds. That almost sounds like I'm trying to be Australian, hey? But anyway, people were absolutely cracking up and I was just so embarrassed because I had said the word sex in front of the whole school. Those are just a few that I can remember right now. I honestly don't know any more that I can share without also having to make up a lot of names. Your physically painful memory definitely would have to be when I broke my arm. I was 11 and we were playing a game of dodgeball, I'm pretty sure it was, and I was in the middle and there was 2 other people that were running to the same point, and we kind of all tripped over one another, but how I landed, I like broke my arm and I was in so much pain. And I remember crying because that's all I used to do when something hurt. I would just cry. And I went to the sick bay and the teacher who did first aid was like, "You need to stop crying." And I was like, it just made me cry even more. And she said to me it was just a sprain and to put an ice pack on it. And then by the end of the day I was still very much in pain. They ended up taking me to the Harwood Hospital and I got a cast that night. So yeah, that teacher that said I need to stop crying because I fucking broke my arm, bloody hell. But yeah, it was so sucky. And then that night after because we had a babysitter, and she had taken me to the hospital and brought me home, and that night she said for us to stay for dinner, and it was the most painful time I've ever been. Like, it was just so painful. I remember sitting on her bed, which was a water bed, and I just remember just wanting to cry, and it was just so painful. I don't know, I might have been just a bit of a wussy, but that's what I can feel is my last physically painful memory. A school memory. Oh my gosh, I loved school. I loved school. I wasn't very academic. but I passed, and I thought I did okay once I got to high school. I probably could have done better, but whatever, you know, that's just how it is. My favourite school memory, one of them, would have to be winning Stage Challenge. Stage Challenge was like a great platform to express drama and performing arts. It was definitely up my alley, and I did it twice, and the second time I did it we won, and I just loved it. The atmosphere was so cool, and it was so good to beat the bigger New Plymouth schools, because I went to a smaller school at the time, and it was just so cool to beat these big New Plymouth schools, and we just, oh, it was amazing, so cool. And I definitely thought that that was a highlight of going to high school, was definitely Stage Challenge. Another school memory for me has to be my last day of high school. It was the best day ever, and I don't know why kids are dropping out in year 13, like maybe, I don't know, for a few months before the school term ends. Like, don't do that. Just go to the end of high school. It's so worth it. So my last day of high school, I remember me and my friend were a little bit like, we weren't very happy because we had to wear this ugly blazer and school uniform because we were deputy students, deputy head girls, and the rest of our friends got to wear their favourite outfit, and I was just like, oh, so stink, we've got to wear this. It was such a cool day. I knew that I was getting an award, but I didn't realise how many I was getting, and I just think it was just such a cool moment to be part of that day. And then the last day came, and I remember clearing out all my stuff out of my locker, giving it to my mum, and then that night we had like a year 13 after party. It was so fun. And I remember looking back and leaving the school that day and being like, oh my god, this is the last time I'm gonna be a student here. Obviously we still had exams, but pretty much that was the last time I was going to be at that high school. Funny enough though, about a month or so ago I was back at that high school talking to students there, and it was just so cool to be back in my old high school. Honestly, if you are a year 13 and you are like, I can't wait to leave school, yeah, totally, it's so cool when you do leave, but definitely taking those last few weeks of the end of the term, it's just so good. So that would be another great school memory. And one more would have to be a school camp at high school once again. We went to, it was called Vertical Horizons. I'm not sure if it's still called that. It's out the back of Inglewood, and it's where all year 13 students normally go. You have like a one night stay, and it's a great way to get to know your peers a little bit more, because obviously you've gone from year 9 to year 13, but lots of you have dropped off, and then this is like your core group that you are going to hopefully graduate with. And you get to know people a bit more, and it's just so much fun, and I really loved that whole experience, and I was just so stoked, and I had some really, really good friends who I'm still very good friends with now, and I feel like, yeah, my last year was just the bomb.com, honestly, so good. Your best friend memory. Oh my god, I have to mention this. Okay, so me and my bestie, we've been friends for like ages, like years. I can't, when did we meet? 1998, I'm pretty sure we met, and it was quite funny because she was friends with this other girl who was friends with her. I had just started at the school. We had just moved to this town from Hamilton, and even though I wasn't born in Taranaki, I still consider Taranaki my home. And yeah, like I said, I had just moved to this small tiny school from Hamilton, and I didn't really know many people. And I remember we were on the jungle gym, and this other girl got stuck, and me and my friend Amber, we literally just looked at her and kind of laughed. I know that's real bad, but we were on the jungle gym. We couldn't get down fast enough, so we're like telling people to go get a teacher, and then this poor girl's crying because she's stuck in the jungle gym. We're just sitting there kind of like, don't know what to do. And I think that's just how we became friends. I can't really remember the logistics or, you know, the full story of how we became friends, but we became friends from that day on, pretty much, which is quite crazy and funny. And also we're still friends, even though she lives so far away. There's also a memory on here called the proud memory. So I have to say my proudest moment would have to be at high school when I became deputy head girl. It was really amazing to have that opportunity, and also being a Māori student as well. That was another thing, because we didn't have a lot of Māori that ended up getting to the end of the year 13. I think I was the only girl, and there might have been one other boy, and that was it. which is kind of stink. We need more Māori to represent year 13s, you know. So that would have to be my proudest moment. Also, I received Best All-Round Girl, and it's really cool to go back to that school, which I did a few weeks ago, and look up at the Best All-Round Girl plaque, and there's my name. Pretty awesome. I mean, I did share it with my friend Amy, but it was really, really makes you quite proud to think that, yeah, oh my God, like, people that are related to me or people that know me are going to see that name there, and it's going to be like, wow, that's cool. Well, hopefully. My next one would definitely be when I graduated from radio training school, which was based down in Wellington. I went to this course thinking that I was going to be all that in a bag of potato chips. No, but actually this is what you think. You think that you are really up there, but then you get there and you're like, oh my God, there's people who think exactly the same thing and they're like way better than you. You know, I got down there and made some really great friends, but I wasn't top of the class. I was the shy one out of my class. Like, I was the shy one, and people, like, whenever I tell them that I was the shy person in my radio training class, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, actually I was the shy one. And so for me to graduate and then also get a job in radio, that made me really happy, because even though there are a few people in my class that are in radio, a lot of them are not. So yeah, I think that kind of makes me a bit proud, you know. I'm also proud of my Jack. He's my life. I'm eating my cat, guys. Okay, we're going to do one more because this is just going to be way too long otherwise. Road trip memory. I've had so many cool road trips, but one that sticks out was when I first left home and me and my friends decided to go visit two of our other friends who lived down in Wellington at the time. All of us, except for me, were studying at the time, and I think it must have been like mid-semester break or something, and I was working, so I could easily get the time off. So we all jumped into a car and we drove down to Wellington, and when we got there, we honestly didn't know where we were going to stay. My friend who lived in Wellington, she lived in like a little flat which was on the terrace, and on the same terrace there was my friend's hostel, who she lived with somebody in the room. You know how you've got those dorm rooms that have like one person, like two people in each room? There was 4 of us that went down for this trip. No, it wasn't 4. No, there was 3 of us, and somehow, I don't know how, but we managed to all squeeze into this 2-bedroom dorm. Not even 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom dorm. I don't know how we did that, but it was my first experience going clubbing in Wellington. And you know, when you're 18 and you kind of overindulge, like some of us never made it to town, some of us did. We met so many people. It was just a cool all night awesome rager. And then the next day we came home and it was like, wow, this is so cool, let's do this again. We didn't do it again. Oh, we did actually, we went to the Sevens, but that's a little bit of a different story. But it was just so amazing, such a cool road trip. I can't even think of anything worse right now at my age doing that. I mean, I would love to go to Wellington, but I'd rather be staying somewhere and I'd rather go out for dinner. I just can't think of drinking that excessively like what I used to do back then. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something a little bit different about me. I know this is a little bit different. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a subscribe if you really enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!